Right, so this video I'm just gonna do the psychodynamic contemporary debates from component one. I forgot to do that in my contemporary debates. If you watched that video, if you didn't, I'd highly recommend watching it. It's quite useful. Just on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to find it, or in the playlist, the psychology series. It's a playlist I've made with all these videos. So yeah, it'll just be a quick one. So cool. So for my introduction, again, I'll stress don't copy it word for word, but take inspiration. It's kind of like a way to understand how to write essays, how to formulate paragraphs and whatnot. So for my introduction, I wrote, the mother has often been referred to as the primary caregiver in society due to biological, psychological, and sociological factors. Some psychologists may suggest that the mother is naturally equipped to take care of infants. Therefore, they should be the primary caregiver in contemporary society or even historical society, highlighted through psychological theories such as Bowlby's maternal deprivation theory. However, others argue that this is a harmful notion and underestimates the mother's ability to be an inadequate carer or caregiver, which may contribute to the jarring disparities in child custody between mothers and fathers. Pretty sure one statistic, it was about like 95% of cases where a mother gets custody of the child, and obviously you can see the injustice there, but you have to verify that. That is a stat that I did see online. I didn't fact check that. So for my agreeing point, so some psychologists may agree as they may follow the principle of maternal altruism. So women are suited to be mothers and caregivers. So this is psychological and biological factors. So biological, breastfeeding, they release antibodies, and they're also breastfeeding with your baby. The hormone or neurotransmitter hormone, I'm pretty sure oxytocin, is released, which is called the love chemical essentially. I'll elaborate that in a later point. So biological, women produce more estrogen, which is linked with caring behavior. So because of this link, it suggests that women are biologically more equipped to caregive for children. So to contrast, men are less sensitive to social cues. So that's Herman or Heerman et al. This is problematic where infants cannot verbalize or vocalize their needs. Absence of such empathy may result in extreme cases of affectionate psychopathy, a term coined by Bowlby in his study of maternal deprivation. So so psychological or endocrinal factors, breastfeeding releases oxytocin, which is known as the love hormone, which is implicated with strengthening the bond between mother and children. This suggests that fathers are unsuited as parents. The oxytocin, however, is not just released during breastfeeding. Just general bonding between people releases oxytocin, so especially present in sex, for example. So this contrasted by studies suggesting that male testosterone drops to help them respond more sensitively to the needs of an infant and respond the same as a female would. So that's Getler and Frody, respectively. So male testosterone drops to help them respond more sensitively to the need of an infant. That's Getler, and then this helps them to respond the same way as a female would. That's Frody. So, an against argument, you could say that others may suggest that fathers are just as suitable, given their effort to equalize the opportunity for paternal caregiving. New laws in April 2015 allowed parental leave, allowing for an equal divide of the 52 weeks of entitlement that ordinarily a mother would receive for maternity leave, for instance. This suggests that traditional roles of the mother as the primary caregiver are breaking down, that these are not biologically determined but are socially constructed. This demonstrates that society is recognizing that fathers can be equally as effective as parents as mothers or grandmothers, for instance. So evaluation for this, you could say it's a strong argument. Typically, deficits that parental neglect causes on the child is rarely due to maternal deprivation, but overall parental separation or parental deprivation. Stay-at-home parenting allows for an intense amount of bonding, but this is not amplified based on the sex or gender of the parent. Higher levels of empathy present in women may produce a slightly higher advantage, but studies such as Frody have demonstrated that men are capable of the same. So if you look at, for instance, other factors may result in different bonding experiences with each parent. So men typically bond differently but better with fathers who are present in their life. Women may typically bond more with their mothers, for instance, but that's because when you're the same gender you can relate to the same things, right? You think relatively similarly, especially because they're your parents. You don't notice this, but you actually think quite similarly to your parents. You have to have quite a lot of introspection to realize that. So some psychologists may suggest that caregiving by grandparents is just as adequate. So this is an against point technically. So Age UK 2017 suggested that 5 million grandparents provided regular care at least once a week, so 12% once a day, 18% 4 to 6 times a week, and 38% 2 to 3 times a week. The charity director, Caroline Abrahams, stated that grandparents play a vital role in the care of their grandchildren. This suggests that they can perform the same role as a mother would when she is absent. So if you look at your peers, for example, or let's say a flashback to primary school or secondary school, how many people have said that their grandparents take care of them? How many people have said that since as a child they've regularly visited their grandparents? Sometimes their parents might go home, they might stay over at their grandparents, their parents might go home because they'll work the next day. That's technically caregiving by the grandparents, sorry. So they do play a vital role. Even if you don't know anybody like that, then you can appreciate the statistics speaks for themselves that grandparents overall tend to have quite a vital role in the caregiving of children. So the use of other adults is advantageous, so this evaluation, as it may reduce potential separation anxiety. For instance, a stay-at-home mother may prevent their child from learning the same social skills their daycare peers achieve at an early age. They may become unhealthy, emotionally dependent on their mothers, which is substantiated by Kids Health. So that's an organisation that's performed a study, most likely, then, as is the case. So a parent spending 24 hours a day caring for children often become fatigued and socially isolated from other adults. This frustration may impact their quality of parenting. So if you're more likely to lash out, if you're more emotionally unstable as a parent, then you might project your own issues or your own frustrations onto your child. But that's not fair because they're young. That's not their fault because you bore the responsibility of being a parent when you chose to either get pregnant or impregnate a woman. Obviously, there are exceptions to that, but generally we're going by the rule and not the exception. But that goes without saying, this naturally happens because as humans we're not perfect. This naturally does happen. A lot of parents are too busy with work to take classes or seek therapy to become more of a rounded person or gain more control of their emotions. Infants biologically benefit from the mother as the primary caregiver through breast milk. Beyond the hormone oxytocin, immunostimulants are released via breast milk that aids to develop the infant's immune system. A little bit of a tongue twister there. So the NHS recommends that breastfeeding extends at least 6 months into a child's life. Therefore, you do it yourself. So evaluation point, it say that technological advancements have become prominent enough that replacements of breast milk are formulated. So formulas, so food. Furthermore, as well, food is not correlated with the formation of a bond or emotional attachment. So that's Harlow, Shadder, and or Shader or Skahada, or I don't know how you pronounce that, and Emerson. Therefore, and then you make your own point, obviously, and then you do your own conclusion. This one was quite short, but it just encourages you to make your own arguments yourself. I'd encourage just writing this, to be honest, making your own answer structure. But yeah, thanks for watching.